It's Monday, March 28th, 2022, 7:55 a.m. It's kind of funny the difference a month and a half or so makes. Um, so that week off that I had, I started it off really happy. I was like, yeah, this is the start of something great. And then at some point in that week, pretty early on, I started getting really sad. And if I call it depression at any point in this video, I didn't mean to. I don't really know what depression is. I don't know if I'm depressed. I haven't been diagnosed, so I just call it sadness. But I started to get really, really sad. Like, really sad. The most sad probably I've been since Taylor and I broke up. But I think that was worse, because this just doesn't feel the same. It feels awful, but I don't feel like this black hole inside of me, which is nice, because that was awful. But I started feeling really bad. And that made me feel worse, because I started to realize, because I was like, wow, how naive am I to think that it was just a job that was causing all this? Because it wasn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And it started making me so sad that, like, I can't figure out why I'm so sad. And like I said, it just bugged me, because I was like, well, I thought it was the job, but it's not. So, sick. I'm right back to where I started. I mean, I started the job. Once I started getting into the work, and it's been about a month now. It's fine. I mean, I have more time to do stuff. I still have the same anxiety. Not to the same extent, but there has been some days where I wake up super anxious. During the day, super anxious, depending on the work that I have. A lot of that's still there, so nothing really has changed. It's maybe got a little bit easier, but overall it's still pretty much the same thing, so that sucks. But I started to get really sad, and I kind of distanced myself from everyone for a bit, and I started to get really mad at that, because I was like, because at this point now it's been about a month, I think, since I've talked to everybody, the boys on Discord, and at first I was really mad, because I was like, why does no one care? Like, I haven't talked to these guys in however long, and no one's reaching out to me. No one seems to give a shit whether I'm here or not. And I spent a lot of time thinking about that, and I was like, well, that's just it. Like, I don't have friends. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that with any negative connotation. I'm just stating a fact, is that when I started to think about the nature of our relationship, me and the boys, I realized that we've never had that kind of friendship. Like, we've always been buddies, acquaintances. That's it. It's always been kind of a base level relationship where we play games together, or we just chill and talk for a bit, and that's it. We don't ever talk about anything deep. I mean, I think a couple of times we've had somewhat deep conversations, and I felt uncomfortable in those situations. And I thought about, like, okay, well, what if they did reach out? What would you say? Nothing, I'm doing fine, just been busy. Okay, well, why do you want them to reach out then? Would you reach out to them if they were having an issue? No, I wouldn't, because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, even like Josh, a year or two ago, when he was going through his breakup and he was at his lowest, and he reached out to me for some help. I felt uncomfortable, because one, I just feel uncomfortable in the situations, but two, like, in retrospect, I realized it's because we don't have that type of friendship, so it's kind of out of nowhere for me. And would I follow up? Would I, if I didn't see him around, if I didn't see someone else around for a bit, would I reach out to them, like, hey, I haven't seen you for a bit. What are you up to? No, I wouldn't, because we don't have that friendship. And so I went from being mad to just understanding that that's just the nature of the relationship we have, and just being sadder than I was because of that. I realized I don't have friends. I have no one, outside of those guys that I talk to. And that sucks. And then I was like, at first I was thinking, I gotta make some friends, that might help. And then I thought, well, that's gonna be hard, because I don't know how to make friends. I don't know where to go to make friends. It's like, well, instead of going somewhere, why don't you take the relationships you've already established with the boys, and why don't you just turn those into friendships? And for whatever reason, that just makes me super uncomfortable. I think the main reason it makes me uncomfortable is just because that's me. It's like I don't know like what how to do that. How to, I'm not comfortable in those things. I think that's part of the reason all my relationships have failed for you know, well, I've had issues, I guess, with in regards to like just the friendship portion of it, not even just the romantic side of things, but just the base friendship level of it. There was always issues there because I don't know how to be a good friend or a friend in general. But anyway, yeah, it's been rough. I've been going through a really hard time, and actually, as a result, I've been drinking a lot over the last month. It's been the only thing that's made me feel fine. And I know it's a temporary fix. I know it's something permanent. I know it's not really helping, but it is because it's, for a little bit there, I could just not feel what I'm feeling. It feels so nice. I had a therapy consultation, I think 2 weeks ago, and my first actual appointment is tonight after work. I don't really know. I'm so discouraged about it because I think I've come to the realization that what if, so let me just backtrack a bit here. So I've been trying to think what is wrong with me? Why am I so fucking sad all the time? And then nothing adds up. I take all these sources of sadness and I add them all up, and they don't equal 100. If it was a pie, there would be a missing piece of the pie, and I don't know what that is. Am I still recording? I think so. I don't know what that is, and that's been bothering me. And I'm trying to think what else could it be? And finally one day I was like, what if it's nothing? What if that missing piece of the puzzle is just my brain? What if my brain's just broken? What if for the rest of my life there's some wires crossed up here and this is how I'm supposed to feel? I'm not supposed to feel, but this is just how I'm going to feel. Doesn't matter the amount of therapy I do. Doesn't matter the amount of help I try to reach out for. Nothing will ever fix this permanently. Doesn't matter how much I drink. Doesn't matter if I go on medication, which that's been an internal argument that I can get to shortly, but it doesn't matter because what if it's just my brain? What if there is nothing else and it's just my brain? And that sucks. That fucking sucks. Because that means I have to live the rest of my life like this. It fucking sucks, man. So that's made me even more sad. So it's just been this spiral, really, of feeling like absolute dog shit. And I've been, I haven't really been following a good sleep schedule. I've been eating like shit. I feel like I'm getting fat. So I'm getting even more depressed because I've realized that I have some body dysmorphia, I think, a little bit of it. Because every time I look in the mirror, no matter what portion of my life I've been in, every time I look in the mirror, I feel like I'm fat. And I'm not. But I see that I'm fat. But I'm not. But I see that I'm fat. And it's just tough, man. And I think that another thing that's been aggravating me is this battle in my head that's I've always said that just because someone else has it worse than you or easier than you or whatever, it doesn't minimize your own struggles, because your own struggles are your own, and it affects you the way it doesn't affect anyone else. But I can't take my own words, because I start thinking about my own feelings, and I'm like, well, I'm not suicidal. I haven't tried to kill myself. Other people have. So clearly I have it better than them. So like, suck it up. Pretty much is kind of the moral of that story. And it's like, why am I thinking that? I don't know. And I think it's a completely separate thought. Another thing that's been bothering me is the fact that like, well, a few things, I guess. I was going to start by saying the fact that at my job, there's, like I need to sound like I'm happy. Like when I talk to a customer, I can't talk to them like this. Like, hey, how's it going? It's Mike. Calling you to fix your shit. Like, hey, it's Mike. How you doing today? Oh, good, good. Yeah, no, I'm just calling about whatever ticket. I have to put a smile on my face. I didn't realize how much I hated doing that. Because it makes me realize more how sad I am. And I can't escape it. Because in the past, I could go to work for 8 hours and just not really think about it. Just kind of focus on work. But when I have to talk to a customer, it's almost like the sadness is like, fuck you, dude. I'm right here. Deal with me. And then the other thing is that I think I was I don't think I know that like I just don't think I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. This isn't it. And it's right back to where I was, earlier this year, last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you know, in high school. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. I feel I don't know. I just feel like I don't I I'm supposed to do something and it I feel like I'm supposed to do something important with my life. But when that comes out of my mouth, I feel almost like I'm braggadocious. Like I'm saying, hey, if I was an athlete, I'd be the one that makes it to the big league. If I was an actor, I'd be the one that makes it into Hollywood. If I was a musician, I'd be the one that sells out arenas. Like my life is, or that I somehow am the one. I am one of the important people. And it's like I'm not. There's nothing special about me. I don't have any unique skills. I have nothing that separates me from anyone. I am average, if not below average, as a person in terms of my skills and talents and interests and all that shit. Below average, I'd probably say, because I don't have many of those things. And it's like, so that's great that I can feel that, but I have nothing to back up that feeling. And I don't know what else, like, I don't know what is, like, what I'm supposed to do. And any aptitude tests, are those that what you take when you want to figure out what you're doing, like, which is supposed to, like, a job recommendation? They all point to office jobs. I don't know what else to look into, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what's going to make me happy. This isn't it. Working from home is nice, but the job itself sucks. The company I work for, again, seems great. I have times where I enjoy the work that I do. Times where I get excited. Times where I'm like, oh, fuck, I fixed that. That's sick. I'm actually smart. I'm actually good at this. But overall, it's like, okay, like I'm supposed to do this for the next 36 years of my life until I retire, if I can at 65? No. That's not it. This isn't it. So that makes me sad. Because I've been figuring that out for over a decade now, and I still don't know. And then there was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember. But I'm just really, really sad.